Alrighty then. Peace, 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 love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalinago once more with another video. All right, just making sure I got audio. I think I do. I'm gonna give. I know it's it's Saturn Day. I think it is, and some of you guys may still be in bed, but for those of you who are not gonna catch the live, then I guess you'll catch it later. But I just wanted to do a video, to give you guys some information because I get a lot of emails and peace, Sharice. I get a lot of emails, and my job is to, assist and accommodate as much as I can. So with that being said, copper truth, peace, love, and light. With that being said, a lot of people are once again coming into the truth of who we are as the American Aborigines, the autochthon Americans. What does that mean? It means that we are the original Americans. And when I say we, I mean the so-called Black African Americans that they choose to call us in our own land. And a lot of people are waking up to that truth, and they're trying to find their way. And I get it. I totally get it. I have been there, and I know it's a journey. It could be very, very, very frustrating. It could be overwhelming, but at the same time, it brings you joy and pain as well. And the reason for the pain is because, you have been living your life for so long, all your life. You were taught to believe that you were something else, that you were from somewhere else. And, you may be in your late 20s or even, a teenager. Most of the people that I get in touch with or that get in touch with me, they're actually in their late 40s, 50s, even 60s, are waking up to the fact that we are the original people. And it's very tough on them. Again, living your life, your entire existence, and all of a sudden you come and find out that you are not what you were told that you are. So I get it. And people ask a lot of questions. As a matter of fact, just yesterday I got at least 10 emails. Well, I don't want to exaggerate. I got about 7 emails, people inquiring with some of the same things that we spoke of in the live video with Chief Holiday and Autochthonous one. And people are asking, well, I'm able to go back in the census or through records up to the 1800s, but I can't seem to go further back. And my advice to you is this: don't stress yourself too much. Okay, don't get too overwhelmed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, once again, you have to do some research on what is paper genocide. Okay, the reason why they say or they write us off in history is because it's not because they made us extinct physically, because obviously we are still here. The extinction that they are talking about, it's on paper. It's called paper genocide. Okay, I'm gonna make you disappear on paper. That's why they had such things as the census. Okay, the census is where they take their records as to different ethnicities and groups of people that live within the constructs of the United States. So they change our identity completely. So therefore, we became extinct on paper. But it's not that we extinct physically. You see, all the narrative about they killed off the original Indians, with diseases and all that stuff, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. We're still here and we are not going anywhere. All right. However, yes, they made us extinct on paper. That's what this is all about. So since they well, let me just use that term. Since they killed us on paper, they had to recreate us. A peace Star Trek. Since they killed us on paper, they had to recreate us on paper. In other words, you had to be born again. So I'm going to try my best to break this down, because I was doing some meditation last night, and I always want to bring something that's going to help you build. I always want to bring something that's going to help you move forward. At least that's my goal. That's my intentions. So when I got up today, I went to a Trini restaurant, and I got me a bacon saltfish with some passion fruit juice. I'm telling you, it was off the chain. But anyway, what came to me was, trying to assist you with that, to take you to the next level in your awakening as to who you are. So once again, you were born a living baby. Remember, you are a man or a woman first before anything. Everything else outside of that is a label. You have to remember that. Everything else outside of being a man or a woman is a label. And keep in mind, okay, the physical you is not you. The I am in you, what moves the body, is who you really are, the I am. And the I am doesn't have a name. That's why the title of the video says choosing an indigenous title, aka a name and more, because we don't have names. You cannot name a spirit. However, the body that the spirit dwells within have names, or so-called names, or what is known as. So that's what I'm trying to break down to you. So seeing that you were born a living baby, a living boy or a girl, okay, flesh and blood, what they had to do through the birth certificate, it's called a death certificate. So they killed you on paper, and they recreated you on paper with the all capital letters. So in other words, you were born again. Now, the reason why I'm putting it in that context is because they injected a lot of those symbolic things in the Bible. And that's why I refer to the Bible. Not that I think it's a book that came from a sky daddy. I'm not saying that. What I know is it's very symbolic, it's allegorical, and I know exactly what it means. So I'm breaking that down to you so you get a better understanding moving forward, how you could get an indigenous name or an indigenous title that suits you. That's the direction, at least, I want to go in today. But first, you have to understand exactly what happened to you. Okay? So once again, just to reiterate, we don't have names. And I'm gonna go back to the allegorical Bible. And I'm saying the allegorical Bible, please, if you don't know the definition of allegory, look up the meaning. The Bible wasn't meant to be taken literally. So when the allegorical Moses went to speak to the allegorical God in the Bible, and he asked them, "What is your name?" He said that my name is I am, and that shall be my name forever and ever. I am. Okay. And I am is a very powerful statement. Those two words are very powerful because it shapes your reality. You see, the I am, once you start saying I am, that's a spiritual thing. Okay. Now you are dealing with the spirit. But whenever you utter those words, I am, you are creating, because words give life and death. Okay? Words give life and death. Now, what are words? Words are spoken thoughts. So your thoughts and your words are synonymous. Okay? They are basically the same thing. It's just that one is action, where you actually speak, and one is a thought, which is more, it deals with the spiritual aspect of things. Okay? So words are very, 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 very important. So when you say I am, be very mindful of what follows that I am, because it becomes your reality. What people don't realize is this. Again, the universe is like a big wishing well, so to speak. I think that's the perfect analogy. And anything that you put out there in the universe, that's what it gives back to you. And I'm going to give you a typical example. When children go to kindergarten, right? How do they get creative? They take a big basket of all these different colorful toys and they give it to a child. And the child pick things out from that basket and try to create something else. And if they don't like where they take a piece and put it, they're going to put it back and take something else. It's the same thing with the universe. The universe is a big basket of wishing well. And anytime you put your hand into the universe and take something or ask of something, the universe will give you exactly what you want. So be very mindful of your thoughts. That's why it was taught okay, in cultures that you have to guard your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words, and when you speak them, it becomes your reality. Okay, so going back to the name, we don't have names because you cannot name a spirit. Therefore, we are known as, okay? We are known as. That's very important. You have to get this, okay? So when you were born again, you were given a name. It's not your name. That's what your mother said and your father said. This is my son. This is my daughter, and they shall be known as A, B, C, or X, Y, Z. And then the world calls you that. Now you think that's you, because you weren't properly taught that it's not you. It is just an identifier. That's what I want the world to know me as. But keep in mind, that name was given to you by your mother and your father. You didn't give it to yourself. So therefore, you are not liable. Anything that transpired in that name, okay, without free and prior consent, you have the right to be given, to be forgiven for your transgressions. That's what it means to be born again. Now, I'm going to break this down to you guys, okay? That's why the allegorical Jesus wasn't Christ. And Jesus said that himself. Many may come in my name and say that I am Christ. What is he saying? He's saying that I am known as Jesus. Jesus is the physical man. Okay, but when he had to give up all the carnal ways, the earthly things, he transcended into the Christ, which is the I am. And that's the same thing that we have to do. Okay, that's the same thing that we have to do. Again, it's not that he was a literal man, but the story, okay, is real because it was written by real men. It is an example for us to follow. All right, so going back to the name that your mother gave you, that name was a name that the government gave you on paper. In other words, the government created the birth certificate, they killed you on the birth certificate, and you were born again with the all capital letters, which is literally a capstone, meaning that you are not a real person. So the majority of the people that's in the world, not just the United States, in the world with a birth certificate, they are living a life that's not them. They are only living a life that's on paper. That entity only exists in a fictitious world. So you are not real. Now, for some of you, that might be a little confusing, okay? But I'm trying my best to explain it for a 2 or a 3-year-old could get it, okay? And I hope I'm going to do a great job today with this because that's my intention. So once again, the name that your mother and father gave you, okay, it is not a name. Let's just forget that. No one has names, okay? It's you are known as. However, that name that they gave you, it's only for a fictitious entity. It was an entity that was created called a legal person, a corporation. So you are not you. I know it's confusing, but you are not you, okay? You are not you. They created a fake you that you, the physical self, is representing, okay? So a lot of people are changing their so-called names, which is cool, but let me break this down to you, all right? Now, we all, peace, Jazzy, feathers up. Samuel, peace and love. Jamal, okay? We all came from a family, all right? A family of, let's just say, your so-called last name, because we don't have last names. Again, we have been miseducated. No one has a last name. We have what's called surnames. Now, if you go look at the prefix sir, it means to be above. So that means your family is above all else. So if your family comes first, because there's an old adage that says family comes first. So if your family comes first, why do you have a last name? Your family should always come first. Always come first. So therefore, we don't have last names. Again, that's in the miseducation of the masses so that they get trapped into this fictitious world that's only created on paper. That is the matrix. Well, part of the matrix, so to speak. And I hope that's making sense so far. All right. So with that being said, The name that you have in all capital letters, it is not you. You are representing it unbeknown to yourself that it's not you. And anytime that name or that fiction gets in trouble, you go represent it and say it's you. So therefore, if it get a citation, which is a ticket, okay, you go, you say that's me, then you are responsible. Okay. Now, if they fine you, you have to pay the fine for that fictitious entity. If they decide to put that fictitious entity in jail, you think it's you. So you are the one going to jail. So brothers and sisters, and I'm talking to anybody because everybody is enslaved, okay? Everybody have to get this. They are not putting the real you in jail. The government cannot put a man or a woman in jail. They could only deal with fictitious entities. In other words, defendants, plaintiffs, okay, suspects, criminals, okay. Those are the type of terms they use to pull you into their jurisdiction so that they could abuse the fictitious you while you, the living man and woman, representing it, saying that it's you. Okay? Now, here's something, like I said before, we all came from a family, all right? Your family comes first, so you don't have a last name. Anyone who says they have, that's why on documents they put what's your legal name. Legal name means first, middle, and last name. That alone in itself is unlawful because no one has a legal name. There is no such thing. That doesn't exist. It was created in a legal system. And the legal system is a fictitious system. It is not lawful. Okay? It is not lawful, but you think it's law. So take, for instance, if a cop, which is a constable on patrol, because a real police officer is appointed. So cops are not police officers. They are constables on patrol. Basically, they are security guards working for the best interest of the corporation. You know what I'm saying? Protecting and promoting policies, ordinances. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. All right. Now here's the thing. If a police officer stop you and ask you your name, well, some of these cops, they don't know. Honestly, some of them are still ignorant. They don't know the law. They think they're upholding law. No, they're upholding policies. That's all they're doing, but they don't know. So we, the people, have to educate them. All right. But again, don't be rude. Okay. Don't be rude. Take your time and explain it. If they don't want to hear it, then like I said, take the ticket and go to court and beat it. That's what I do. I don't get into heavy debates with cops because I want to live. Okay, I want to live because I got work to do. So I don't want to get into unnecessary conversations and make a sudden move and I get shot and they're going to find some way to justify whatever it is. Even if I was just trying to just maybe, take my wallet out, you know the story, you know what they do. So I don't put myself in those situations. Okay, I am very polite, but I speak very lawfully. Okay, so here's the thing. If a cop asks you what's your name, okay, you, on the other hand, you have a right. Peace, I'm Chief Holiday. You have a right not to answer. That's your right. Because guess what? You don't have a name. If a cop asks you for ID, you have a right not to give that cop an ID. You know why? Because within law, there is no such thing as failure to identify. But people don't know that. So they get intimidated. And some of the cops, they use, intimidation. Okay, well, I'm going to arrest you. Why you want to arrest me? Because I don't want to tell you who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's your responsibility. I'm not going to do your job for you. You have at least a 2-hour span to find out who I am or let me go. And that is the law. Okay? But people get scared and people get nervous. Okay? So, take for instance, if your name is John Doe, John Doe is the supposed first name. John is the supposed first name and Doe is the last name. Now, correctly, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be John, comma, of the Doe family. Y'all get this? That's what it's supposed to be, not John Doe. John Doe is a legal fiction. And I hope you guys peep the game that they are playing. So for me, anytime I write my documents, okay, I don't put the legal name. Okay, I don't do that. If it's John Doe or Timothy Brown, I put Timothy, comma, of the Brown family, meaning that that's the family that I came from. I'm indicating right there that I'm not a legal person. I am a real flesh man that actually came from a family of such and such. So remember, you don't have a legal name. That is you playing their game. Don't play their games. Okay, that's how people get in trouble. And that's why they tell you you have the right to remain silent, because anything you say will be used against you in the court of law because you are speaking a language that you don't understand. It sounds like English, but it's not English. It is called legalese. And that's the language that you don't want to learn. Leave it alone because it's complicated. It comes with a lot of statutes and codes. And trust me, you will spend the rest of your life learning every code. That's why I don't deal with their paperwork. I create my own, okay? Or I work with people where we could create stuff, okay? And we share stuff together. So I hope that makes sense, all right? Now let us talk about the choosing of a name, okay? A lot of people say, well, you know, Chief, I don't want to change my name because just in case it ties back to land and all that stuff. Fine, good and well. You are not changing your name, so to speak, because remember, you are who you are, okay? If your mom said, well, this is my son or daughter, and their name shall be such and such, that's always going to be that. That's fine. However, as an adult, you have a right. Again, it's called the repentance, so to speak. Okay, you have a right to be born again. That's your right. Every individual has a right to self-identify, and there is no institution, no government could tell you, well, you know what, you cannot be that, because they are violating your creator-given rights. That's what they are doing. Now, a lot of people change their so-called names because they want to get away from legal situations. Now, that's not a good reason. Now, this is dealing more with the spiritual aspect of things. Every man and woman has to be, and again, please don't take this the wrong way, okay? Because all this stuff is symbolic. Every man and woman was so-called born in sin. Remember, there was a covenant between us and the Creator. But the government became the so-called God, and we had a new covenant, okay, with the government, which is the birth certificate. That's a contract. A covenant is just a contract, okay? A covenant is just a contract. So we sinned. We sinned against the Most High, the real Creator, okay? And we allowed the government to become our gods, our new creator. I hope that makes sense, because I'm trying my best to break this down to you. So the government is the new creator. Hey, peace, I'm Brother Vortex. I'm Olivia Dixon, okay? So the government is the new creator that created the fictitious you on paper. So they are playing God. And that's why the Bible said, thou shalt not have any other gods but me. No false God. The government is a false God. And I'm just speaking again, using it in an allegorical sense. That's what I'm saying, because I understand exactly what it means and what they're saying and the symbolism behind it. So that's why I'm breaking it down to you. So a new covenant was created, the birth certificate, okay, where we sold ourselves or our people, our children to the beast. And that's why the Bible said, again, the allegorical Bible said, get out of her. We have to get out of the beast, okay? The beast is the system. And when they say get out of her, it didn't mean to get out literally. I'm going to keep it real. At first, I thought that. That's why when people told me they wanted to go to Africa, I'm like, cool, let's go. We going to Ghana. I set up an exodus, and I had like damn near 60 people getting ready to go to Ghana until the ancestors said, what are you doing? would take them to Africa. So I had to rethink that, okay, and change my whole system of thinking and tell people the very next day, hey, you know what? We ain't going to Africa. We're not Africans. People thought I was crazy because, like I said, I was one of the first few people that was doing them videos saying that we are American Indians. Okay, so with that being said, the name that we have, in changing your name, you have to be very careful. Okay, very careful. It doesn't mean that you can't change your so-called name. You have a right to self-identify. So like I said, no government could tell you that. But you have to be born again. And that's what it means. In other words, if your mother named you Beverly Johnson, Beverly Johnson in all caps is the fictitious you. Okay, that is what the government recreated. So now you have to be born again. That's what it means. You have to be born again and let them know that what they have on file is not you. That's called putting them on notice. You have to repent. And when I tell people this, a lot of people are changing their names because they want to get away from legal situations, thinking you could hide from it. No, you have to repent. You have to pay for your sins. You cannot change your name. Take, for instance, if your name is Beverly Johnson, and no pun intended, if your name is Beverly Johnson and you committed all these so-called crimes, and all of a sudden you want to call yourself, Empress Blue Sky, and you think that everything that Beverly Johnson did is just going to go away, then you are mistaken. Okay? That is not a moral and righteous reason for changing your title. Okay, you are doing it for all the wrong reasons. So that means that you haven't repented. You haven't paid your transgression. You haven't carried your cross. You were not crucified. Okay, to let go of the old ways, your old transgressions. Every man and woman have to bear their own cross. Okay, so changing your so-called name is not going to get rid of all the past BS you did, messing up people's lives, causing confusion. No, it's not going to change that. You have to deal with that internally. It's all an internal thing. You have to baptize internally. I'm not sure if you guys know, but the 12 disciples are the 12 faculties in our mind. And man gave each of them a name. So one of the faculties is what's called John the Baptist. And John the Baptist has to do an internal baptism where you could let go of all the carnal ways. Stop allowing materialistic things to be your God. That's when John steps in. But remember, Judas is also one of those 12 disciples. That's within you. And Judas is always going to try to betray you. So what I'm saying is this. If you are going to do a name change, don't do it to get away from past transgressions. Make sure you deal with those first, because it will come back and haunt you. Believe me, it will. It will come back and haunt you. So make sure you deal with those situations. And you are only changing your title because you are ready to move forward and you have repented, you have paid your transgressions, and you're ready to be born again. And that's all this means symbolically in the Bible, because the government is playing God. They know exactly what they are doing. Okay? They know what they are doing. But you have to put them on notice. Now, if someone has information on you, a lot of information, compiled information, so to speak, and they assume and presume that this is you, and all your life you are living under the perception of that individual they created. Now it is up to you. It is up to you. Well, whether it was John the Baptist or John, the one who wakened, the one that baptized Jesus. Which one was it? Maybe it was John, I think. Maybe not John the Baptist, but I think it was John. So please correct me on that, and I appreciate the correction. So whoever baptized Jesus is the one I'm talking about. But those people weren't real. Those are just, again, the 12 faculties in man that they gave names, and they all play a significant role. So I appreciate the correction on that. Thank you. All right. Peace, Chief Holiday. Peace and love. All right. So check this out. So once again, The name, it doesn't mean that you can't change your so-called name, so to speak. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you. Okay. So when you are choosing a name, this is the first thing you have to do. Remember, words have power. You are not replacing, but you are now giving the I am a title. You're now saying that I am is known as such and such. So you have to be very mindful, because remember, words have power. Words have power. There is power of life and death in your tongue. So when you pick a name, you want to pick a name that's going to represent who you are or who you aspire to be. Okay? Because once you put it out there in the universe, it will become your reality. So you don't want to choose a title that's demonic or that has some type of negative energy. You don't want that, because that's what you're going to attract to yourself. Believe that. That is what you're going to attract to yourself. So you want to choose a title that means something, something that's going to take you to a higher frequency. Okay? That's what you want to do. Now, a lot of people have problems picking a title. For me, I had to get mine through meditation. The truth of the matter is, the first one I had was Chief Kalanago, Apka something Hotep Amon. All right. Now, where did that come from? That title came from a ritual that was done. Now, the ritual was done by a brother from Sudan. Okay, one of my friends, or associates, so to speak. And then he did a ritual, and from the ritual, he gave me that title. However, within my spirit, that wasn't resonating with me, because for some reason, it just didn't click. I mean, I had already done IDs with that title, but it just wasn't for me, because it was all African. Everything in it was African, and it just wasn't resonating with my spirit. So I said, okay, you know what? I told the brother, hey, I appreciate the ritual ceremony that you did, but the name is not for me. I'm going to have to find my own. Okay? That's something personal. So what I did, I went into meditation. I asked the Most High to guide me through this. I asked the ancestors to guide me through this. Okay? And they gave it to me. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly how I got it. One night, I was asleep, and I'm not sure if it's a vision or a dream. Whichever way, I got the message. All right. So I already had the title of Chief Kalinago. Okay. Kalinago represents the people. All right. Because we have always been the people. And like I said, I have a genuine love for people, particularly my people. So I'm always representing the people. So Kalinago to me symbolizes the people, we the people. Okay. Now, the flying eagle, came from that vision. I was asleep, and I heard a baby eagle screaming, I mean, hysterically, shouting, crying, right? And I know I didn't have any birds in my apartment. So I got up in the dream or the vision, whatever it was, and I followed the sound, and I ended up in my kitchen. Now, when I look on my refrigerator, I seen a baby eagle with no feathers. Okay, it's like it was just sitting up like it was dead with no feathers. So the eagle continued crying and screaming, and I got scared. So then a brother, never seen the brother before, a brother came into the vision and said, "Hey, Chief, don't be scared. The eagle wants you to feed it." And I was like, "Well, feed it. I ain't got no food." So he pointed to the back of me, now actually on the floor. So when I looked down, I saw a box, but it was wrapped like a gift. So I opened the box, and then the food fell on the floor, but it was so refined. It was so refined that I couldn't pick it up. So the eagle started screaming and crying again, and I got scared again. The brother came back in the vision. He said, "Chief, don't be scared. The eagle wants you to feed it." I said, "But I ain't got no food." So he pointed to the back of me. And then when I turned around, I saw a little swamp of worms in the kitchen. Now, all that's in the vision, right? So I took my hands, got the worms, I started feeding the eagle. And then all of a sudden, the eagle's feathers started to grow, and the eagle started to get big from a baby and growing into a grown bird with full feathers. And it stopped crying, and all of a sudden, it just soared. Okay, now that was in the dream. So I got scared and I got up, went to use the bathroom, went back, and I'm asking, okay, I'm asking now, what does that mean? So I went back. What I do is this: when I meditate and I want any type of information, I meditate on it first, and then I go to sleep and see if I could get it and pull it out of the spiritual realm. Okay, so I did a little meditation and went back to sleep looking for answers, and then it came as clear as day, ancestors or whoever, but the voice that came told me, "That's your name." Okay, ego, but ego just wasn't good enough. So what I did was I did some pendulum work. I used the pendulum and I did some pendulum work confirming the eagle part of it. And then so the name become Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. So that's how I got that. That was given to me by my ancestors. That title came from a higher realm. Okay. Now, a lot of people, of course, haters, always asking, well, what makes you chief? Well, again, you know, you could be anything that you choose to be, because the truth of the matter is we are all chief, we are all king, we are all queens of our own domain. That's number one. So no one has to make you a chief, no one has to make you a king, no one has to make you a queen. We all have a crown. We all have a crown, which is your crown chakra. So what does that mean? But you see, ignorant people and people that's full of hate and hatred and animosity and jealousy always want to put you down. So they always try to discredit you. You know what I mean? But we were all born with a crown. It's called your crown chakra. So that makes you an automatic king or queen. So no one has to give you any titles. You could take that title if you deserve it, that is, because you cannot just be a king or a queen just because you have a crown chakra. Okay, you have to have the attributes. You have to act as such. Okay, but for me, it's a little different from me. And people call it ego. People call it, whatever they want to call it. But for me, it's not ego. It's a matter of knowing who I am. I love who I am. I know who I am. So I take pride in being who I am. You know what I'm saying? So when I was born, and again, part of this video is to let people know who they are dealing with. I am a real man. You see, I don't tell lies, because a liar is a thief, and I'm not a thief. One thing my grandmother have always told me growing up is that a liar is a thief, and a thief is a liar. And if I ever catch you lying to me, oh man, she would pull the switch. So I have always practiced keeping it real. I don't care if you like it or not, I will tell you the truth. I don't care if it hurt me, I am ready to pay my transgressions. Okay? That's me. I could only speak for myself. So when I was born, my mother gave me I wouldn't say name because we don't have names. My mother proclaimed to the world that her son shall be named Kenrick. That is Kenrick. All right? Kenrick. That's what my mother named and father named their son. All right? So let's look at the definition of Kenrick, because like I said, you have to know who you are. In order to find your true purpose, you have to get to know yourself. And that's why it says, okay, know thyself. The key is to know thyself. No one knows you better than you. So therefore, how can the government have compiled information about me that they assume and presume, and then I'm just going to acquiesce to it? No, I am going to put you on notice and tell you, hey, the information that you have, that's not me. Let me tell you who I am. Now, that's your declaration. You are declaring to the world who you are. In other words, I am born again. I am proud. I am happy. My redemption has come. So she named her son Kenrick. And again, like I said, that's just part of this as well, is allowing you to get to know who you're dealing with. Because you see, people always tend to say things about people, again, for their own personal reasons. Me, like I said, I'm a straight up man. I've always been 100%. I don't play games. All right. So let me, all right, Trey Ross, well, you're apparently, your what you call it? your post or your comment is not going to show, because like I said, I don't deal with niggas. All right. Y'all people, once again, are very damaged people. And I don't have time for the negativity. All right. But let me just show you real quick. I'm going to go share my screen a little bit. Bear with me here for a second. Okay. So this is the name that my mother gave her son. All right. And it says Kenrick, Kenrick. It says Scottish meaning. The name is a Scottish baby name. It is Scottish. The meaning of the name Kenrick is royal chieftain. It's a surname. Okay. It's a surname. So then, like I said, I mean, when I was born, I didn't know we didn't have names. We only had surnames. So apparently, even if Kenrick supposedly was the first name, it was a surname. So there was a family of Kenrick. Okay. And it means Welsh. The name Kenrick, Welsh baby name, is Welsh meaning royal chieftain, a surname. Okay. Again, we go English meaning the name Kenrick, English meaning the name royal ruler, a chief, a hero. So when I tell people, you see, you have to know who you are. It's what I feel within me that makes me know who I am, because I know myself. I know what's in my spirit. And I didn't even know the meaning of that name, because apparently I didn't tell my mother to name me. But you see, all that stuff is spiritual. All that stuff is spiritual. My life was already preordained, just like everybody else. Your life was already preordained. There was already a script written for you. And now we are playing out that role within this third dimensional realm. So a lot of us came for different reasons. A lot of us came to uplift humanity. A lot of us came to lead people into freedom, into, a life of liberty, while others came to cause distraction. Some came to cause chaos. So once again, you have to know who you are and never allow anyone to take away who you are. Don't allow them to take that away from you with lies and propaganda. Don't allow them to do that. And again, I am not showing you this to impress you, but I am showing you all this to impress upon you that knowing who you are is key. Get to know yourself. Take time to date yourself. Take time to love yourself. Take time to romance yourself. Well, some of y'all may take it a little too far, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Take time to know who you are. Spend time with you, because how can you give anybody the best of you if you don't know what the best of you is? That's impossible. So get to know who you are. Get to know what ticks you off. Get to know what tickles your fancy, what makes you smile, what turns you on, so that you could help your partner or significant other make you a better you and have a better relationship. That's what it's about, getting to know who you are. So I did some further digging on that, and this is what I came up with. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says Kenrick is an active, viral, and resourceful man who often appears distant and reserved at first, when in fact he is just wary and a little nervous around those he doesn't know and doesn't open to straight away. But once reassured, he reveals himself to be straightforward, direct, and sincere. He is the genuine article and can't stand superficiality in others. While he possesses a strong sense of duty to those he loves, he is independent and his freedom is there to him. Somewhat allergic to restriction, he enjoys challenging himself by taking calculated risk. However, he needs security and stability and is sometimes torn between his hankering for possession, which leads him to conserve the acquisitions, and the desire to conquer his fears. Luckily, he's also rather adaptable, and he allows him to allow his dreams without too much anxiety. Even so, he can be prone to stress and needs to stay active in order to dispense his excess energy. Now, I'm not gonna read all that, but I'm just gonna show you that, again, the reason for me pointing all that out is for you to take the time to know who you are. And that's exactly who I am. Now, did my mother know? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is we chose our life before we came here. So apparently I stepped into exactly what I picked for myself. That's exactly who I am. I don't like fake people. I am very straightforward. I don't lie. I don't play these games. And when I saw that, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. Again, it's not to impress you, but to impress upon you. You have to know who you are. Because my mother knew exactly who was coming through her portal. That's why she gave me that name. I didn't make it up. So when people come and hate on me, that's why I said you can't stop me, because it was designed, it was ordained. And when I use such words, they get mad. Well, who does he think he is? I know who I am. The question is, do you know who you are? So let's get back to picking a title. Pick a title that's going to help you soar. Pick a title that suits your personality and what you want to accomplish in life. Because remember, all the words that you put out is what you become. I'm going to give you a typical example. When you have a rapper, right? A rapper writes his or her lyrics. What they do, then they spit it out, right? You know, I'm the one in the hood. I got the cars. I got the this. What happens? Eventually, they get a deal, and all of a sudden, they have the cars that they're speaking of. They have the homes that they're speaking of. It's called manifestation. It's called manifestation. Whenever you call yourself a title or a so-called name, know that you are becoming the reality. Whatever you profess with your tongue is what you are shaping yourself to become. So if you give yourself a title that has low vibrational energy or a meaning, then that means you will gravitate to that side of that energy field. So I hope that makes sense. So going back to the name, it doesn't mean that you cannot change your name from what your mother named you, because again, it's not a name. Okay, you will always be such and such from that family. But what you are telling the world is, I would like to be known as such and such. It doesn't mean that you are giving up your family name. It's just a nickname. Just like how Jesus is a nickname for Yeshua. Jesus wasn't his real name. It's a nickname. And see how it's part of our culture. I'm going to prove it to you. How many of y'all right now, okay, don't have a nickname? How many of us really use our true so-called name that our mother gave us in the hood? Huh? How many of us? You know why? Because that's part of the culture. It's innate. It's within our being, knowing that we have to be reborn again. Okay? It is that DNA in us, that ancestral DNA that's telling us something is wrong with that physical name. That name that they gave you is not you. So the rebellion, the rebellious you, the I am in you is telling you that you need to be reborn again. It doesn't mean that you don't love what your mother called you or you're disrespecting your mother. No, that's not what it means. All it means is this: your mother, our mothers sold us into slavery. Okay, they became informants and sold us into slavery. And then that name, they created a fake us, a fictitious us on paper. And your higher self is telling you that's not you. You need to get out of the beast. Get out of the beast. Get out of her. Repent, be born again, and recreate yourself. And that's what it means. So therefore, by me telling the world and proclaiming to the world that I am Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle, it means that the Kenrick, the all caps letter, is not me. So, and I have already all the transgressions that Kenrick did, thank heavens, is not a lot, because I have never been to jail. I've never did any time. Okay, so I'm good. Wish I could say the same for people who are scandalizing my name, but you know, I wasn't a troubled child. Okay, the most I ever did was, you know, my sisters, they were beautiful and they are beautiful. So when little boys used to bother them, I used to defend them to the T. Like, seriously, don't mess with my sisters. So I always used to get into fights defending my sisters. That was pretty much the extent of the trouble I got into. Well, and of course, playing marbles. I used to play a lot of marbles, and I used to win a lot. and people wanted to fight me for my marbles. So, you know, I fought. But apart from that, man, I was always, don't get me wrong, I was a troublesome child. What I mean by that is I like to play tricks, games on my cousins. But that was about it. I never got in trouble. Okay, like I said, never been to jail, you know, never been accused of no type of, nah, that's not me. So I'm doing this video again so you, the public, get to know who you're dealing with. Not from other people, okay, and their lives, but from me, the real man. The man that was created and brought here to uplift his people. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's my purpose. I know I'm living it right now. Don't get me wrong. It's tough. It's hard. It's hard, especially dealing with the people that you want to uplift, and they are the same ones coming to tear you down. It's tough and it hurts. It really does. But one thing you have to realize is this. When you have a purpose and you were chosen for something, regardless of what you go through, you always come back to what you aspire to be. Okay? So know that, and you could change your name 4 or 5 times. That's cool. Again, it's not a problem. I'm going to give you another example. Take, for instance, the I am said that my name shall be I am forever and ever. However, guess what? They call it Jesus. And I say it because it's not a him, it's not a her. So I don't get into this gender thing. It is just an energy, a source where male and female exist in the creator. So I'm going to use the term creator. So the creator said, my name shall be I am. I shall be known as I am. But the world said, well, hey, you know what? It's Jesus, Buddha, Zeus, Mithra, God, you know, Apollo, Allah. It is the same entity. It is the same entity, but just known as. So if today or tomorrow you say, you know what, I want to call myself Bread Basket, and then 4 weeks later you got a vision and you say, you know what, man, Bread Basket ain't working for me. I want to call myself the Fisherman. You could do that. You have that prerogative. It's your right, and nobody could tell you, no government could tell you that you can't do that. As a matter of fact, people even think that you must go to court to change your name. No, you don't have to. You don't. You don't need their permission. All you do is put them on notice. You are saying that, hey, I'm telling you this is who I am. That's it. And update all your information, or all the information you have about me in your system. Update it because I'm telling you this is who I am. So in other words, everybody is born in sin. Okay? You made a covenant with the devil, the government, through the birth certificate. And I'm just summarizing things. Okay? You were born a man and woman from the creator, a brand new baby. Okay? Real flesh and blood. And the fictitious God, which is the government, came and said, you know what? I want that baby. So I'm going to reborn that baby again. It's called the rebirth, the second birth, so to speak. So they created another you. Now that is a covenant that was created with a false God, which is the government. So now the real creator is mad. The real creator don't like that, because now you have another God outside of the real creator. So now the real creator is saying you have to be born again. You have to be baptized. Okay? So being born again is getting out of her. It tells you, get out of her. So get out of her in the all caps, out of the beast, and recreate yourself. Be born again. Become the Christ. Become the new you, so to speak. And that's, in layman's terms, my brothers and sisters, that's how simple it is. That's it. But remember, you cannot serve 2 gods at one time. So if you are born again and you get out of her, then don't go back and deal with her. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So if you are ready to move forward and be who you truly are, then do it. But if you are not, don't be in and out. Okay? Don't be in and out, because you could get in trouble for that. All right? But everyone has a right to self-identify. Everyone has a right to be born again. And remember, there is order in the world. People think there is no order. Yes, there is. and they have to respect certain codes. Okay? So once again, you are not ashamed of what your mother named you or called you. It's just that unbeknown to your mother, she sold you into slavery, or your father sold you into slavery, and now you are redeeming yourself. This is your redemption, so to speak. Your ascension, your awakening, the new you, the rebirth. So you are still Beverly of the Johnson family, but now you're telling the world that Beverly of the Johnson family moving forward would like to be known as Purple Feather or Little Feather. So I hope that makes sense. All right. I hope that makes sense, because right now, everyone is property. You are personal and private property through the birth certificate. So the only way to free yourself is for you to take responsibility, is for you to become that adult and stop being a child, stop being a minor. Okay. And of course, I go in detail in my book. Okay. Newsflash, everyone's a slave unless. All right. And like I said, the book is pretty much done. I'm working on the cover. If you look in the link below, you will see an email. Send an email to reserve your copy of the book. I go in detail as to when it started. Well, in recent times, I started from the 1700s. Okay. When it started, who started it, where it was started, what they did, and up to this current time. And I give some solutions as to what you could do, okay, to correct your status. You see, a lot of people talk about correcting status, and a lot of people get pulled into so many different directions. And you have people charging all this astronomical values or amount of money, 2,500, this and that. No, it shouldn't cost you that much. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that whatever they charge you is not worth it. I cannot put a value on people's time. But for me, knowing the knowledge that I know, I would not do that. No, if I didn't know, then there is no price to pay for your so-called freedom. If somebody could really give you the information. Now, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to keep it real with you. Okay, I don't know it all. I'm going to be totally honest, because any man or woman who says they know it all is a fool, because every day we learn something new. I don't know it all, but I'm going to tell you this. What I know, it has gotten me far. I know a whole lot more than a lot of people know. And for people who say that they know, I know a whole lot more. And I've accomplished so much. And I'm proud of myself, because I'm assisting my fellow man and woman. I'm assisting my brothers. And I know enough to help my brothers and sisters get out of the beast. At least I know that much. So once again, the link for the book, for the email to reserve your copy of the book. I'm going to print 100 copies. Of course, I'll probably do more, but I'm just going to print a few, about 100, and then once those get out of stock, then I will create some more. But like I said, the book is powerful. It has a lot of information. And once again, my job is to assist my fellow men and women. I am tired of my people being taken advantage of. Well, just people in general. Because the truth of the matter is, this has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It's about the have and the have-nots, and the have is taking advantage of the have-nots because they have no money, they don't have the education, they don't have the knowledge as to what they are going through and what they have been through and what's in store for them. Every day, these people are liquidating assets because you are an asset. You are not a living man and woman, and that's how they get to sleep at night. Because they're not doing it to the real you. They're doing it to an entity that was created on paper. You only exist in the paper realm. That's why everything has to be your signature, or you have to give your consent. Apart from that, they cannot deal with a man or a woman. I'm going to give you a typical example. Okay? I'm going to give you a typical example. A vampire or a Dracula, so to speak. A vampire or a Dracula will not come into your house unless you know what that means. You give them consent. You see, everything they are showing you and telling you in plain sight. They are vampires sucking your energy, and they cannot come through the back window, because if they come through the back window, they are violating the natural fundamental laws of the universe. So they're not going to do that. However, they're gonna romance you. Okay, they're gonna entice you. They're going to give you the privileges. Well, you know what? Be a corporate citizen and I will give you this. You're going to get Social Security. You know, you're going to get welfare. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. You see, that is the enticement to pull you into that jurisdiction, to pull you into their world of that sinister world where they can abuse you. But it cannot happen without your consent. Because once you were born and that contract was created between your mother, you, and the fake God, which is the government, they created what's called a trust. And from that trust, your birth certificate went and was stamped from all these different countries in the world and is being traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So right now, your birth certificate, you're worth millions, if not billions. So every time you get into the fictitious you that you think is you, get into a situation and they say, well, you are guilty. Guess what? You are not guilty. It's the piece of paper that's guilty. The you on paper is guilty. So now, once you sign anything or you say, I understand, then that means they access that trust fund and they get money from your trust. That's why they're able to make $15,000, $20,000, $100,000 a month, okay, living on yachts, living in mansions while we are here struggling to pay our rent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this dude right here, I know exactly who you are. One thing I'm telling y'all, y'all could come and deal with all the negativity. I know exactly who you are. I know you left Jamaica and came to the United States through Mexico when you stole somebody's ID. Okay, y'all better chill, because I don't want to really get out of character. I know where you live, okay? I know your woman, and I will call the authorities on you. I know where you at, okay? You left Jamaica, you stole somebody's ID, and you came to Mexico, and you came into the United States. I will call immigration on your ass, all right? You see, like I said, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to stay positive, but y'all keep pushing it, okay? I'm not going to let y'all pull me into this negativity, for real. So chill, all right? Chill, all right? I'm here to uplift the people and teach the people. Chill, all right? All right, cool. So once again, I appreciate that, Jazzy. Thank you. All right. So once again, brothers and sisters, I hope this makes sense. Now, I'm going to end this video soon. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, please, I'm going to take a few questions, maybe like about 5 questions. Again, my goal and my job is to assist you through this process. Okay. Assist you, because it's important that you get out of the beast. It's important that you redeem yourself. It's important that you are born again. All right. Oh, nah, I'm not going to allow them to get me out of character. Nah. You see, I'm bigger than that. I'm bigger than that. And like I said, the light will always overcome the dark. It will always. It doesn't matter how much darkness you have. All you need is just a little glimpse, a spark of light, and you would see it will eradicate the darkness. So I'm not worried about it. I'm always going to stay positive, because like I said, I know there's work to do and I cannot get caught up in the BS. You know what I mean? So again, this channel is strictly about high vibes. It's strictly about uplifting the people. That's it. All right. People who deal with negativity and dealing on a low vibrational frequency, the universe is going to deal with them. And they don't realize what they're doing because of their ways. Because of their ways, guess what? Their children and their family is going to suffer for what they're doing. And that's sad. Those are selfish people. Selfish people. What is a notice, and how do I give notices, and to whom do I give the notice to? That's a great question. A notice, if let's go look at the definition of notice. And now let's go look at the definition of notice. All righty. Okay, definition of notice. Okay, so we're going to look at the definition of notice, because once again, I like you guys to see opposed to just me telling you. Okay, all right, so this is the definition of notice to answer Sharice's question. Notice, attention, observation. All right, this is right here. Notification, warning of something, especially to allow preparation to be made, to become aware. Okay, so essentially that's what a notice is, Sharice. Okay, that's a notice. So now you know what a notice is. It's a warning. Okay, you're putting somebody on warning. Now the next question is, how do I give a notice? Well, the first thing you have to do, you have to create your notice. Okay, you have to create your notice. All right, create your notice. It depends. Again, you know you better than yourself. So your notice is about you, things about you that you want to declare. Who do you give the notice to? Again, it's up to you. You could give a notice to your job. You could give a notice to the Secretary of State, the governor, the mayor, whoever you feel that you want to know who you are. In other words, what information your job to, what information they have for you on file, okay, you want to fix that and you want to correct that. So that's what it's about. That's what pretty much essentially, that's what you're doing. All right. That's what you're doing. So I hope, Sharice, I hope that answered your question. Okay. Anybody else? Any more questions? We'll take about, that's one. We'll take about 5 more questions. Hopefully we'll get 5 more. All right. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Well, like I said, if you go look at these people's, profiles, they have no pictures. They're just trolls. Okay. Are you familiar with estates? Well, to a certain extent, because we all are an estate. Okay, it's a state of mind. So if somebody controls your estate, they control your mind. So one of the best ways to protect your estate is to create a trust, which is a whole nother video. So that we won't get into. But an estate is really the state of mind, the land. Okay, so that's pretty much what what an estate is in essence. All right, so I hope that makes sense. I will change the first part of my name to Samuel, but how can I find my Carib tribe name without going back to the reservation in Dominica? Well, as you can see, I have the flag here, Dominica, right? Sacafet, right? Well, again, that's something that's personal. It's internal. You know what I mean? It's internal. Whatever you feel, the spirit that you gravitate to, okay, that's what you want to call, you want to be identified by. And that's cool. So literally, you don't have to go back to DA, all right, Dominica, to look for an Aboriginal title, all right? You could do some research online. Again, you could go into meditation. It's a lot of ways of doing things so you could get a title that suits you, that could help you move forward, all right? So I hope that makes sense. But yes, if you feel like keeping Samuel, you could do that. Keep Samuel and use another part of something that's indigenous, so to speak, to represent who you are. Okay, so then I see those trolls are really out, huh? Man, I tell you, y'all people are so sad, boy. I tell you, man. Y'all are just so sad. Sad, sad, sad. It's a shame. Wow. That's why I tell you, man, our people are so damaged. So damaged. You know what I mean? They would see videos of men all day calling our women all type of names. Videos with people fighting, destroying, and they would like those things. They would share and promote it, But here you are, I am here giving information to assist the people, help the people, and they coming on here trolling. And we wonder why we are in the state that we are in today. It's because it's our fault. It's because it's our fault, man. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Everything that we are going through, is because of us. People like these people, like them. And that's why I said, man, people have to prove who they are to me. They have to prove that they're trustworthy. Because I tell you, man, y'all people, wow. You don't have to be on this channel. You don't have to be here. Nobody's asking you to be here. So why are you here? You know what I mean? But anyway, brothers and sisters, yeah, it's all good. All the information was given, so I ain't worried about it. You know what I mean? And what I'm going to do is, you know what? I'm probably going to create a website where I could do those things on my own site so that they won't be able to comment or do anything and just give the information. So if you know, a lot of things are being worked on. And once again, I thank you guys for tuning in. The link below, send an email to reserve a copy of the book. Also, for those of you who are, you know, again, trying to get more information in terms of how to, you know, get yourself together, get yourself in order, get yourself out of this beast, then the other email is below, Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. So once again, it is time to build, and we're going to continue to build. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to build. All right? We're going to continue to build. And of course, karma is real. Oh, believe that. Karma is real, and they're going to get it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, brother. It is a victory, you know, because I'm a winner all day. You see, one thing you have to realize is this. Once you are doing the right thing and you dwell in righteousness, it doesn't matter what anybody else do. It doesn't matter what they do. Just continue to shine. Just continue to do what you were doing. You know what I mean? And that's all. All right. Have you ever done a DBA? Yeah, I have actually done a DBA. I've done it, you know, for business purposes. I've done it. I've done it before. Yeah. And a DBA, if people don't know, is doing business as. Do you have a tribe and I can join your tribe, and how? Well, you could send me, Sharice, you could send me an email. I don't have a tribe per se, but we have a nation. All right. And, you know, we still putting in work and we are moving forward. So the email is below. Contact me through any one of those emails and you'll get information on that. All right. Like I said, there is real people out here doing real things and doing real work. And we should never be mad at people that's coming at us with all the negativity. You know why? Because that's what hit him. That's what they manifest here for. That's what they manifest here for. You see, they will sleep, right? When this video started, for the past over an hour, we've been on here and we had 20 likes and 1 dislike. But of course, the demons woke up. The demons woke up and now we have 15 dislikes. But it's information to save your life, to save your children's life. But you have trolls trolling. So again, that's just to show you the mindset of these people. They are bottom feeders. They're demons. They're weak. That's what it is. They're weak and they're going to get their karma. I guarantee you that. Take it from me. They will. Yep. Low vibrational demons. And of course, I know that they are fallen. They're the fallen ones. Yep, indeed. They are. All right. So once again, I thank you guys for tuning in. It's a beautiful day, man. So enjoy the rest of your day. New York is a little bit chilly right now because it rained last night. They said we were expecting a snowstorm, but we didn't get it. But we did get a little rain though. So I hope I gave you guys some vital information today. I hope I was able to articulate, you know, the message that that was intended. So once again, I thank you guys so much. And oh yes, they will get what's coming to them. Absolutely, they will. So I'm not even worried about it. Like I said, I put these people in the hands of the Most High. I put them in the hands of the ancestors. You see, I burn candles all day. I burn sage all day. Frankenstein and myrrh. You know, I stay protected, man. So I'm not worried about that. We got work to do. We got things to do. Our people are dying in the streets. Our children are suffering. You know, so we have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. All right. So you know, we cannot afford to be focused on negativity. All right. We can't afford to do that because we will eradicate those type of people. In fact, they're doing it by themselves. So the job is already done. All right. So with that being said, thank you to each and every one of you for continuing to share your space with me, your energy with me. And I'll continue to put in this work. Check in the link below. There's information there. So we will talk soon and enjoy the rest. I'm not going to say the rest of your weekend because ain't nothing weak about it and we don't want it to end. So let's just say have a strong continuation. All right. Everything is about positive vibes. All right. Peace and love to each and every one of you and continue to, yes, indeed. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jazzy. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Olivia. Aboriginal Lone Wolf, thanks again for being a moderator. And, you know, just keeping these fools in check, man. We're going to shine. They can't stop our light from shining. All right. Peace and love to each and every one of you. We'll talk soon. Peace.